Have you ever stopped to think about the fact that you lived through an entire chapter of your life before the age of 3? You entered this world, opened your eyes for the first time, heard your mother's voice, tasted different foods, and even learned how to stand and walk. You might have even uttered your very first words, maybe mama, dada, or hungry. But there's one catch: you don't remember a single second of it. It's just blank. Most people think the answer is simple. Well, I was a baby. My brain just wasn't ready yet. But that's not quite the whole story. What's actually happening inside your head is far stranger and more intense than you'd imagine. The truth is, your baby brain wasn't failing to record memories. It was actually recording everything. Those memories were there, tucked away neatly, until something came along and wiped them clean. Back in 1905, the famous Sigmund Freud was the first to give this phenomenon a name: infantile amnesia. Freud originally speculated that this was the brain's way of repressing traumatic early memories. However, modern science offers an explanation that's much more logical and backed by data. We know for a fact that babies do have memories. Look at a brilliant experiment from the 80s by psychologist Carolyn Ravachol. She tied a ribbon from a baby's ankle to a mobile hanging over their crib. The babies learned fast. They realized that if they kicked their legs, the mobile moved, and they loved it. When she brought the same babies back a few days later, they immediately started kicking again. Even a 2-month-old can hold on to that memory for several days, and by 6 months, they can remember it for weeks. So, the baby brain is actually incredible at learning and storing information. But these memories have a very short expiration date. By the time we grow up, every trace of those early years has vanished. For decades, scientists wondered, why? The first part of the answer lies in your brain's architecture. Deep inside is a small, curved structure called the hippocampus. Think of it as your memory engine. It takes your life experiences like a birthday party or a fun conversation and packages them into files or episodes you can replay later. In adults, the hippocampus works with the prefrontal cortex to tag, store, and retrieve these files. But in a baby, this system is like a house with unfinished wiring. Essential pathways, like the dentate gyrus, the gateway, for new memories aren't fully connected until you're between 2 and 4 years old. Your baby brain is great at making short-term memories, but it lacks the delivery truck needed to move them into long-term storage. But that's only half the story. The next part is the real plot twist. In 2014, neuroscientists Sheena Jocelyn and Paul Franklin discovered something that flipped our understanding of baby memories upside down. They proposed an absurd-sounding hypothesis. What if the very process of building your brain is what destroys your memories? During your first few years, your hippocampus is working overtime to produce new neurons, a process called neurogenesis. This is vital because these new cells build the circuits you'll use for the rest of your life. But Jocelyn and Franklin suspected there was a cost. Every time a new neuron plugs into an existing circuit, it disrupts the connections that were already there. And those old connections were the ones holding your childhood memories. They tested this on mice and found that when they sped up neurogenesis in adult mice, they became forgetful. Conversely, when they slowed it down in baby mice, they could actually remember things longer than usual. The conclusion is wild. Your baby brain wasn't too weak to keep memories. It was just too busy growing. That explosion of new cells was like a bulldozer tearing down old walls to build a massive new skyscraper. Your memories didn't vanish because of an error, but because the system was undergoing a massive upgrade. There's another layer to this: the sense of self. To have autobiographical memories that tell the story of your life, you first have to realize that you exist. Psychologists use the Rouge test to check this. They put a red dot on a baby's nose and place them in front of a mirror. Before 18 months, babies think the reflection is another child. But after 18 months, they touch their own nose. They realize, wait, that's me. This birth of self-awareness happens right around the time long-term memories start to stick. Without an eye in your head, there's no narrator to turn experiences into a life story. Finally, there's language. Psychologist Catherine Nelson argues that language isn't just for talking. It's the framework for memory. Before you can speak, your experiences are just a blur of random sensations. Loud noises, soft textures, bright lights. Without words, those feelings have no container. Once you start talking and your parents start asking, "Remember when we went to the park?" Your memories finally get their structure. Language is the filing cabinet that keeps your memories organized. So, that's why your early childhood feels like a black hole. It's a perfect storm of an immature hippocampus, a blizzard of new neurons wiping old tracks, a lack of self-identity, and no language to tie it all together. Everyone on Earth has this black hole, but don't worry, it's not a failure. It's because your brain was busy with a task much more important than reminiscing. It was busy building who you are today. And to do that, it had to dismantle the old version of you, cell by cell, to create the person who is listening to this right now.